Currently, a bag of Beniseed now here in my own village, we are buying it no less than 160,000, 170,000. It depends.
They are selling it before 300,000, but now they are selling 100,000, 120,000, 150,000.
Rice currently they are buying 50, 60, 65,000 naira. Yes.
It has gone down.
It has gone down very well.
9,500.
100 plus, but now the highest that you can get is 70,000. The highest you can get. Yes.
That means it dropped.
It dropped.
Before, normally they are buying rice at the rate of 100 plus, but now the price have gone down. So they are buying now at the rate of 50,000, 55,000, 60,000, depends on the quality of your goods and the bags. But before there is gain, by now there is a big loss.
Storage business is very profitable, as I've been sharing with you guys on this channel. But you can also lose money doing storage business. In fact, you can lose a lot of money doing storage business if you don't do it right. But this is also what I want to address on this channel, to show you how you can actually avoid making loss by doing your storage business right. So subscribe to the channel if you're new, and give this video a thumbs up so more people can get to see it. So in case you're new here, agro storage business is very simple. It's basically buying agro produce in large quantity when it is cheap and during the harvest period, store it for a period of time, and then resell it when that product has gone off season and now the demand is higher and the supply is lower. So basically you buy cheap, store for a period of time, and then resell and make a lot of money. It's that simple. All right, now there are other little things in between that you should know, which I've also shared in other episodes, so do check out the channel, you'll find it here. Now, in case you are new here, my name is David, and on this channel I try to simplify business processes for you so it's easier for you to understand and so you'll be able to do it. Agro storage business is something I've been doing for a while now, and I also created this channel to share my experience with you guys so you can learn practical example. All right, so if you want to learn, just check out the channel, find it there. And if you want to get market price alert and all of that, join the WhatsApp group. Check the description below, join the WhatsApp group. And also, if you want to start the business, you don't know how to proceed, I have an ebook which I have written. You can actually buy the ebook. Just check the description, you'll find it there.
Last year, they buy goods rice. They buy rice as the rest of 95,000, 85,000 as then. That's from that November, December, January. So they bought goods as 97, 85. So as you see now, the way the country turn up, so the goods has low completely. So some people that buy it and store it, seriously they fall. There's no game on it. They don't game it. But people that buy melo, people that buy soybeans, then game. But people that buy rice, corn, guinea corn, and others millets, they are totally fall.
All right, so this address to this video, which is how do you avoid running into loss from your agro storage business. As you can see from most of the interviews we have done, rice, which was something that a lot of people stored last year, October, November, December, during the harvest period, they are currently now running at a loss. Some people bought for 90,000, 80,000. Right now, rice is currently selling for 50,000 naira, 60,000 naira max, depending on the quality. So which means those who stored bags of rice are actually running at a loss as we speak. Now, but this can be avoided. Now, it doesn't just apply to rice, that's also for corn, for millets, for other stuff as well. As you can see from the interview that we conducted from the storekeepers and from the market. But you can actually avoid running into losses when you do storage businesses, especially when it has to do with price fluctuation. If it has to do with other risks like spoilage or theft or natural disasters like fire, then it's probably those ones you cannot really avoid it. Apart from spoilage, you can actually avoid spoilage, but making sure you buy the right thing. Okay, I've talked about them in other channels, other episode. But theft, you can also briefly avoid theft, but you can't avoid it all. But then risk like a natural disaster or fire, those ones you cannot avoid. All right, except if you're a prayer warrior. All right, so basically things that has to do with price fluctuation of price going up or coming down there are things you can actually do to mitigate that risk and avoid you losing money. And you can make profit instead of making loss. And that's what I want to share with you, giving you practical examples. All right. So what are the first thing you need to do? So the first thing you need to do is you need to buy right and you need to buy at the right time. You need to buy right and buy at the right time. These are two different things. So let me explain. Buying right, for instance, I'll use an egusi for instance. Now, even though we buy and store egusi, which now is a season of egusi, all right? So if you want to invest in egusi, you can do that. This is a season now in August. Now, even though we buy and store egusi, buying right is there are various, there are standard bags of egusi and there are various types of egusi, all right? So you need to identify the egusi that are always in high demand. So those are the ones you should buy and store. And also you should buy the egusi, store it in the bag that is also the standard bag that is normally being sold. Okay, so for instance, there are about 3 different bags that are used in storing the egusi. All right, 3 different bags. They have the highest, the medium, and the smallest. The highest is the standard one that are always in high demand because it is usually very full. So even when you store it for a period of time, because of the duration of storage, sometimes the quantity of the egusi will reduce. But because it's a very huge bag, no matter how the quantity reduce, you still have a good quality. So people will prefer to buy those ones. Now there's also the medium one, which is also good, depending on how well it is filled up. All right. So, but from my experience, I will realize that people always buy the big bag, the one that is fully, loaded and stored. So that is the one you should buy. All right. So when you are going to the market yourself, you should make those inquiries. Now, if I haven't told you this from my experience, you probably wouldn't even know. You would just go to the market and buy, and then when it's not time for you to resell, you now start having lots of issues. But now I have given you the secret, so I think that solves the problem. So when you want to go to the market, you have to check, you have to be sure that you are buying the right one that is stored on the right bag. All right. So that is what I mean by buying right. Now, buying at the right time is that you need to buy when it is the peak of the harvest period. All right. The peak of the harvest period, that is when the prices are really, really down. Okay. So for instance, now egusi is just coming out in some local government, not everywhere. You can't find it everywhere now. It's coming out in some places, in most places it's not there. In some places that it's coming out right now, it is between 100,000 to 130,000 for the medium bag, not even the highest bag. All right, that is what is going. Now, in the next 2-3 weeks, as we get into August, first week August, second week August, there will be lots of harvest. And so there will be influx of egusi into the market. Okay, all things being equal. At that point, the price will definitely come down a lot. So that is the time that you need to buy, because at that point you'll be able to buy it a lot more cheaper. So by the time you do your expenses of bagging or rebagging or storing and all of that, okay, you will still be able to buy it at a very competitive price, such that when it's time for you to resell, even if the price fluctuates, goes very high or doesn't go very high, you wouldn't run at lots. You wouldn't run at a loss, and your profit margin will still be very good. At least you have more than 50% of your profit margin. All right. So this is what you should target. So basically, you need to buy right and you need to buy at the right time. So this is what you need to do to avoid running into loss. Now, if you don't buy at the right time, you find out that you'll be buying your egusi, more expensive. And if you buy it more expensive, you find out that you may not make a lot of profit, even though if you store it, and then you struggle to sell it off. So for instance, if you now bought your egusi when let's say you bought at 150,000 naira per bag, and you now store it for a period of 3 months, 6 months, maybe 7 months later, you want to even resell, and it's just still being sold from 160, 150 that you bought it, that is now being sold for, let's say, 170. All right. So you don't have much of a gain, considering all the stress and wala you have to go through. But if you bought your egusi, let's say you bought it for 90,000 naira, and then they are selling for 170, you still have a lot of gain in between. So you need to buy at the right time. That is very, very important. So get your money ready, buy right, and buy at the right time. So two different things. All right, subscribe to the channel if you're getting value from this video, and hit the like button. It's very important if you're getting value from this video, so I'll be able to do more videos like this. All right. Now, the second thing that you need to know to avoid you running into loss, and so you don't come crying like most people are crying right now, is to not be greedy. Very important. Let me explain. Let's use rice for instance. Right now, a lot of people who store the rice are crying. We've lost. It's because first of all, most of them didn't take care of the first condition I've just mentioned, buying right and buying at the right time. Now, even those who took care of that second condition are missing out on the second condition I'm explaining to you now, which is greed. Now, when you're going into storage business, you should have a profit projection in your mind. All right, have a profit projection. Don't be greedy. Okay, have a profit projection based on the previous market or previous season. All right, so have a profit projection. So your profit projection could be 50% of my, you could just say my profit projection is 50% of my investment, of my ROI. If I can get 50% as profits of my investment, I'm good. I'll go with it. If I can get 45%, I go with it. If I can get 35%, go with it. If I can get 80%, I go with it. All right? Have a profit projection. And so once the market is approaching to your profit projection, please sell. Don't be greedy. Don't say, you be like, if I keep on another 2-3 months now, oh my God, hammer. It will just shock you that the whole thing will fall. Especially if the third condition I'm going to talk about now comes into play. Okay, so listen to the third condition. So this second condition I'm talking about is ensure that you have a profit projection in your mind. And so that once the market, as you monitor the market, as you store and you monitor the market, and you get to your profit projection, just sell and move on. So even if you've projected that in the next 6 months, your profit projection should be 70% of your return on investment. If within 2 months, you get that 70% of return of investment profit already, sell. Don't say, oh, since I'm in if in 2 months it has already given me 70% of profit, let me wait for another 3 months. Maybe by the time it's 5 months now, we'll even get up to 150%. Now, that is where you run into problem. Okay? It's possible that by the time you wait longer, your projection could be right and you could make more money. It's also possible that it could fall. So let's go back to a real example using rice. In October, November, December, when it was a full harvest period of rice was sold between 60,000 naira and 95,000. That's what, depend on the grade of the rice, okay? Because it's all depend on grades. For those who bought at say 65 or 95 at that period, now by the time it was January, February, March, rice has also gone up. From that 95, they are selling like 120, 130, 140. All right. Now, if you, let's say, if you bought right, or you bought at the right time and bought right, let's say you bought at 65 or 70,000, and by the time it was January, February, it was already 130, 140. You see that you already have how much? Almost 80-90% of your profit. You should be able to sell and not wait. You should be able to sell and not wait, because you've already hit your profit projection for that season. So sell off and move on and buy something else. Now, by the time it went to April, May, rice drastically fell. So from April to this time that I'm making this video, July, rice has fallen so badly that people who bought rice for as high as 95,000 naira, now they cannot even sell that rice for 65,000. They are struggling to sell it for 50,000, 60,000, 65,000 maximum for a rice that they bought for 95,000 naira. So you can see how much loss they are already incurring if they decide to sell. And even if they decide to wait, that they don't want to sell and they're hoping. By the time, we are already in July, by the time we enter August, September, October, the new season of rice has already started. And so at that point, it's all over. So you need to actually sell off your rice now. Now, this is the second condition which I'm explaining to you. Don't be greedy. But most importantly, have a profit projection in your mind. All right? So once you're able to hit your profit projection, sell off and move on. If you're not able to hit your profit projection, depending on the market conditions, but you're able to hit a good profit, move on. If you're able to hit above your profit projection within the time frame that you did not even budget, it came faster, Christmas came earlier, sell off and move on.
Then buy millet at the rest of 120, 110, but now millet is 75, 80,000. So then buy a corn, then buy it as then at the rest of 90, 100,000, but now corn is 75, 80,000. Then buy soya beans as then buy it at the rest of 120, 110. You understand? 150, like that. So now soya beans at least soya beans is little bit priced small. So they are buying it now 110, 115. Something that they bought it 150, 1 this. So melon, then buy melon as new coming, that is coming out. Then buy it 100 and 120, 130. They now sell it at the rest of 210, 220, 230. So you see how the melon.
So the third point I wanted to talk about, which is very important, is that you need to actually monitor the market dynamics. This is very, very important for the agro produce that you're storing. So for any agro produce that you store, you need to monitor the market dynamics. Understand what is happening with that agro produce, both locally and both internationally. This is very important. If you don't monitor the market and project ahead of time, you may run into a problem. Let's go back to the rice issue. Why did rice fall? Very simple. When there was this food crisis in Nigeria and all of the issue with food and all of that, the government actually did a temporary wave, duty wave for rice import. And because of that, a lot of rice flooded into Nigeria from China, from India, from Taiwan into Nigeria. In fact, India import a lot of export a lot of rice into Nigeria, all right? Or many people import rice from India into the country. So because of the temporary duty waiver that was given to some of this agro produce, not just rice, to cushion the effects of food inflation, that was why rice just crashed, all right? Now, this is the problem. So this is not just for rice. So when you are storing on any agro produce, you also need to monitor the market dynamics. Understand who are those that actually offtake these rices, who are those that actually buy your agro produce. What is where do you get the highest demand, highest supply? Understand all of this, okay? Know if it's a product that is in high demand, and even if it's in high demand, who are the main off-takers of this product, and then monitor those people to be sure what's going on with them. All right, some of the agro produce in Nigeria are in high demand because they're actually exported. So some companies off-take them and then export them. For instance, the rice I'm talking about here, just in case for clarification, is rice paddy. All right, I'm talking about rice paddy, not the processed one that you buy in Mr. Biggs. Okay, that is unprocessed one. That's the rice paddy. So that's what you store. So and then people will mill rice, and those who have milling factory, they now buy them, mill them, and then sell, or they buy them, or farmers they buy them and then plant. All right, so it's rice paddy I'm talking about. So I was saying that you need to understand the dynamics of the agro produce you're storing. Watch government regulations, watch who are the main off-takers. All of these details you need to always keep your ear on the news so that you can know. If, for instance, government come up with a policy that affects export, okay, and that export has to do with your agro produce that you're storing, that's already a major issue, because that means those who actually buy them in bulk and export them will no longer be able to buy. And so that means there will be loss of supply and less demand. So you need to keep your ear on the ground and understand what is going on. So government regulations, international market dynamics, and all of that could affect a lot of this. And like I've jokingly been saying, that the day China now goes into production of egusi and importing egusi into Nigeria, that is the day egusi business storage will be over. All right, I hope they don't do that soon. So this is one of the reasons why egusi have still been doing very well, is because there are really no importation of egusi into the country that I know of as we speak, all right? So most of the egusi is still being produced by us, and the demand for it is higher than the supply. So this is why among all the crops agro produced that did badly this year, egusi wasn't one of them. Egusi still did very well. Even those who bought egusi late, bought at 160, we are able to sell for almost 200,000 naira. So it's as simple as that, all right? But all other produce that can be imported into the country or have restriction in terms of exportation or government policy to reduce exportation or importation, whatever it is, the market dynamics can affect it. But that being said, this is also the conditions with agro storage. Sometimes even this rice we are speaking right now that has fallen to 50,000 naira, it is also possible that in the next 1 or 2 months, even before get to the harvest period of October, that the rice can still shoot up. It is very, very possible. All right. So these things happen. It is possible. So you can still make your money. So that's why a lot of people are still storing with the hope that they'll be able to still sell it once the price shoots up. So another thing you could actually do, even if you find yourself in a situation where what you store has actually now gone down and now you need to now, find a way to resell it. You can think of other solutions. Other solutions is you can move it out from that market, move it to another market if possible, depend on how many you have, and try to resell it. Another option is you can try to do value addition. Instead of now doing storage, you go into processing. So you're storing rice paddy, you can now decide to process it and then sell it as a normal rice. Okay, because by the time you now process it and do all the whole thing and then package it, you can now identify a dealer in Lagos or anywhere else and then sell it to them at a much lower price than what they are getting, and be able to recover your costs or recover your money or your capital. But of course that will require you doing some extra work. All right, so basically those are the other few things you can do, or you can just keep storing it and keep hoping that the price will go up. All right, so I just wanted to bring these things to your attention today and to let you know that agro storage business is very profitable if done well and if the market conditions are all right and you monitor properly. But that being said, you can also run into loss if not done well, and even after doing everything right, nobody knows tomorrow, you can still run into loss. But most times than often, you make more gain than you make loss. But this is just to show you the other side of the business, so it doesn't look like I'm someone who just comes here and tell you all the beautiful things about agro storage business and don't tell you the risks that are involved. Every business have a risk, every investment has a risk, but it depends on the measure of the risk. Some risks are medium, some are high, some are low. It all depends. All right, and if you're someone who doesn't know how to, or who is not willing to take risk, then you have no business doing business. So you have no business doing business. If you want to do business, you must be willing to take a risk. So this is what I wanted to share with you guys. So those of you who want to go into agro storage business, you can join our WhatsApp group for market alert only. If you want to consult me for consultation, I don't do customer care service, so don't text me now and start asking me a question. I try to provide all the answers. So anything addition, you have to pay for it. All right, or you buy my ebook. Once you buy it, you get access to having a video call with me, and then also subsequently I can respond to your messages. That's very important. But beyond that, also we have also started an agro investment portfolio where you can actually invest, and then we can help you buy, help you store, and help you resell and all of that. But the details I'm going to be sharing with you in the subsequent video, but not now. All right, thank you so much for watching, and see you guys on the very next episode.